day. We are the Group 1. I would like to introduce myself first. I am Nika M. Sagi. And now, we would like to share or discuss about the fact-value problem. The fact-value problem has a three subtopic. First is a fact-value problem meta-ethics. Second is philosophizing about the very terms of ethics. Third is considering the structure of ethics as an object or inquiry. First topic is what is the fact-value problem. The problem or determine whether values are essentially different from facts, whether moral judgments are derived from fact, and whether moral statements are be true or false like factual statements. So it means that a fact-value problem should have statements of facts, positive or descriptive statement, should base upon reason and physical observation. And also, fact value need a statement of value that have normative or prescriptive statement like ethics and aesthetics. Next is what is meta-ethics. Meta-ethics is used and type of inquiry to address the fact-value problem. So it means that meta-ethics should have a status of moral facts and how ethical statement can be understood and justified. Next topic is all about Hume and Moore, the problem classically stated. So Hume said that in every system of morality, which I have hitherto met with, I have always remarked that the author proceed for some time in the ordinary way of reasoning and establish the being of God, or makes observation concerning human affairs, when suddenly I am surprised to find that instead of the usual population, our preposition is not I mean with no preposition, there is no connected with oath or an oath not. So according to David Hume, he pointed out that many morals of ethical statement often start by describing the way things are, whether through observation about the world, human nature, or the existence of deity. And also, David Hume had the insight that have a significant impact on decision in moral philosophy and continue to be influential is contemporary debates about the nature of morality. And that's be all my topic, and thank you.
Criticisms of emotivism. This verification theory of learning doesn't pass. There is a problem with their view that ethical disagreements are disagreements in attitude. Morality seems deeper than mere emotions or acting on feelings or attitudes. Ayer's theory. First, emotivism holds that moral judgment do not have truth values. Second, moral judgment is expression of our attitude. Third, this judgment expresses our feelings and helps us persuade others as we desire. A verification principle. A statement is meaningful if only if it is either tautological or empirically verifiable. Here in emotivism, Ayer's two-pronged approach argues that the fact-value problem arises because moral statement cannot pass a critical test of meaning called the verification principle. Ayer's solution is that moral utterances only express feelings, a position of emotivism. The naturalistic fallacy. It is the fallacy to identify good with any specific natural property as a pleasure or being more evolved. G.E. Moore claims that a concept like the good indefinable because it is simple property, a property that has no parts, and those cannot be identified by constituent elements. Open question argument. First is a task to help determine a moral theory commits a naturalistic fallacy. Second, for any property that we identify goodness, we can ask, is that property itself good? The fallacy of deriving aught is from moral theories. Begin by observing some specific facts about the world. Then they conclude from the statement about what moral obligation. In other words, they move statement about what is the case to statement about what ought to be the case.
Here and prescriptivism. Moral judgment have both a descriptive and prescriptive element. The prescriptive element is conduct, guiding, and recommends that others adopt our value and attitude. So when we make moral judgments, there are two aspects involved. The descriptive element deals with stating facts about a situation or action, while the prescriptive element involves expressing our values and recommending that others adopt a similar attitude. It's like describing what is and suggesting what ought to be based on our values. Moral judgments add a prescriptive element to the descriptive element, the prescriptive being the more important text. So when we make moral judgments, we not only describe the situation, but also add a prescriptive element by expressing our values and saying what should or ought to be done. In this context, the prescriptive element is considered more important because it guides our conduct and reflects our moral values, influencing how we believe others should act in a given situation. So, for instance, imagine witnessing someone finding a lost wallet. The descriptive element should involve stating the facts like someone found a wallet on the street. Now, the prescriptive elements add the moral judgment, saying it's important to return the wallet to its owner because honesty and integrity are valuable traits. Here, the prescriptive elements guides behavior based on the underlying moral values. The logic of moral reasoning. There is a logic to prescriptive judgments. Moral judgments do not have truth values, but they do have a logical form. Certainly, prescriptive judgments, unlike descriptive ones, don't have a truth values in the sense of being objectively truth or false. Instead, they have a logical form, meaning that there's a structure and coherence to the reasoning behind them. While moral judgments may not be universally agreed upon as true or false, their logic lies in the consistency and reasoning within the framework of a particular set of moral principles or values. So, for instance, consider the prescriptive judgment. Helping others in the need is morally right. While this statement doesn't have a universal truth value, it follows a logical form based on a moral principle that values assistance and kindness. The logic lies in the coherence of the idea of helping aligns with a particular moral framework, even if different perspectives might exist. Universalizability. In making moral judgments, one has to say that one would make the same judgment in all similar cases. Judgment is not moral unless the agent is prepared to universalize his or her principle. So, in this statement, means that it suggests that for a judgment to be truly moral, one should be willing to apply the same principle consistently in all similar cases. In other words, a moral judgment becomes valid when the person is prepared to generalize their principle and apply it universally. ensuring consistency in their ethical reasoning across various situations. Universalizability is both a necessary and sufficient condition for moral principle. So, universability serves as both a necessary and a sufficient condition for moral principles. It's necessary because for a principle to be considered moral, it must be applicable universally, not just in specific cases. Additionally, it's sufficient because if a principle can genuinely be universalized, it meets a fundamental criterion for being a valid moral principle, encompassing a broad range of situations and maintaining consistency in ethical judgment. Principles. Principles are central to moral reasoning. Principles serve as major premises in
Naturalism links moral terms with some kind of natural property. Natural in that they are found in the natural world, specifically the natural realms of human psychology and human society. Naturalism in ethics links moral terms to properties found in natural world, particularly within the realms of human psychology and society. Instead of relying on abstract or supernatural foundations, naturalistic ethics seeks to good moral concept in observable, tangible aspects of the human experience. It explores how moral principles emerge from the inheritance aspects of human society, psychology, and social interactions, emphasizing a connection between ethics and the natural world we inhabit. Morse theory regards the idea of goodness and thought it were a thing. The fallacy of hypothetation is a category mistake to treat a functional term as though it were a thing. In Morse's naturalistic approach, the open-ended argument criticizes the idea of treating goodness as if it were a tangible entity, which he calls the fallacy of hypostatation. This points out the error regarding the functional term, like goodness as an actual thing with independent existence. It's a kind of state, a process or concept for a concrete object. More argues that goodness is a quality, not a concrete entity, and make this category mistake hinders a proper understanding of ethical concept in naturalistic framework.